Hey there! Here is a quick video of actions that we need to perform before we start our automation journey. This video is from a manager's point of view. If you are heading an automation project, save this video for your reference. Let's jump to our 6 activities. Initial requirement understanding. The customers are always excited to begin their automation journey, but you need to plan well and ensure that all the risk, logistics, and information are collected at the start itself. Understand the requirement at a very high level. Do not dwell onto coding nitty-gritties at this point of time. Get a quick view of current staffing for your customer. For example, if the current process is handled by 3 people, imagine, will your automation be able to reduce that effort? Understand whether you are making changes to an existing process or are you creating a process from scratch. If you are creating a new process, does the customer need any amendments to the process? Check if there is any system integration needed. Does the underlying automation support this type of integration? Check if OCR, that is, optical character recognition, is needed. It means the bot will need to extract information from an image. For example, passport, PAN card, Aadhaar card. Usually in this scenario, it is necessary to explain customer that the benefits will not be immediate. So, will they be willing to wait until they are able to take full advantage of OCR using the bot? Data privacy and regulations. It is very important to understand how the customer wants his or her data to be stored. Will they want to go with on-premise or cloud approach? On-premise, also called as on-prem, means that data is locally stored onto the customer server itself, whereas on cloud means data is stored online on a different server, may be provided by another vendor. Data privacy and regulations must be followed strictly. Involve necessary team to understand which regulation is followed at the customer's end, recently GDR being a popular choice. Understand the data sensitivity. For example, if the customer is a private bank or a public bank, then each transaction must be accounted for. Inquire if they need any additional encryption while performing the transactions within the bank with the help of the bot. Automation benefits. A customer is always looking for good returns on their investment. Hence, at a very high level, calculate the benefit that the automation will create. There is usually a matrix followed by most of the organizations and is also available online. If the investment done by the customer is greater than the benefits, then reevaluate the candidate that you have chosen for the automation. Few factors that play an important role while calculating the benefits are reduction of the manual effort for performing a task. These are usually measured in percentage. Accuracy, time saved, consistency achieved by deploying the automation. Increase in employee productivity by letting them focus on the task that requires human attention and intelligence. Team availability and capability. From a bird eye view, understand the scope of the work. Before beginning the work, determine if you have the right skill set and number of team members to support the project. Developer skill set is very essential as it directly impacts the quality of the code and eventually the delivery of entire project. Before the actual work begins, most of the customers request for proof of concept POC. Under this proof of concept, you automate a small piece of work for your client. This helps the client to get acquainted with the technology and channelize their expectation of the end results. Hence, make sure that you have the right team availability and capability not only to support the entire work but also the initial proof of concept. Infrastructure check. It is important to understand whether there is an infrastructure available to implement the automation already, or will the customer have to work on the installation separately? Depending on the approach, whether it is on premise or on cloud, count for the time of infrastructure implementation in your delivery plan. Provide the client with the detailed list of system requirements needed to achieve the automation. Initial cost estimation and delivery plans. Flowing through the above steps, create a rough cost estimation or the budget accounting for the infrastructure approach, whether it is on premises or using cloud, infrastructure implementation, whether the infrastructure is already implemented or if you need to provide infrastructure as well. Next is complexity of the work that can scale from low, medium, complex, and very complex. Product licenses needed to support the automation. Create a delivery plan which mentions the duration of the work and the phases involved to support the delivery. For each phase, give tentative dates to the customer so that it gives an idea about the importance of each of the phase. Explain the customer their role and their involvement throughout the automation. For example, a customer needs to provide detailed process requirement. They need to explain the process thoroughly. They also need to generate test data, which will be used for testing purposes in not only development phase but also during integration and UAT. After the testing is completed, the customer also needs to validate the test results. Hence, ensure that the customer is made aware. Thank you for watching the video. If you have any queries or recommendations, please post them into the comment section.